Welcome to Lake Fun News. I'm your host, Joby Leonard. First off, we would like to thank every one of our Lake Fun fans for voting us the dreamiest home in the land. DreamHost hosts over 1.5 million sites, and your site, Lake Fun, was voted the dreamiest site in the land. So, thank you. As a special thank you, we've created the Lake Fun News Service just for you. Our top stories of the day. Number 1, Trump names new TVA directors. As one of the major players in reservoir and lake management, Donald Trump will soon get to name new directors to the TVA. These appointments could take place by May 18th. What does that mean for your summer of lake fun? Probably not much. While we do expect some reform on how the agency is run at the upper echelon, the recreational impact on any TVA-managed lakes and reservoirs we expect to be minor. However, we do foresee the privatization of TVA in the next 2 to 5 year period. For recreational purposes, we see this to be a positive. A government-owned TVA that was created after the Great Depression has little to no use on today's recreational waters. A shift in selling current assets to Duke Energy and other private energy companies has been slowly taking place over the past decade under the dark of night. Also, if you look at many of TVA's executives, they come from nearby energy companies who will no doubt try to bring TVA lakes and reservoirs into their fold. Rick Perry was named the Department of Energy, so I would expect him to have a say in which direction the TVA takes. My bet is privatization in the short term. Unapproved Coast Guard lights. The Coast Guard has expressed some concern about the holiday decorations aboard vessels. Unless your boat is directly involved in a holiday parade, these lights can be dangerous and illegal if used at night. Two primary holiday colors are red and green, and these colors are used throughout navigation of our lakes. Having false lights of these colors could lead to other boaters misjudging your direction, intention, or path. Please be wary that we at Lake Fun want you to celebrate the holiday safely, so use your holiday lights on your vessels under proper care. Finally, we have some new boating regulations going on some of our Lake Fun lakes. 2017 brings new boating regulations for several Lake Fun lakes. Several lakes that could see new regulations this summer are Lake Grinnell, Cranberry Lake, Paul-and-Skill Lake, Lake Hopatcong, and Lake Mohawk. Lake Hopatcong and Lake Mohawk have specific changes regarding anchoring closer to 200 feet from the shoreline and tethering a raft or two more than 20 feet from a vessel. Also, you can no longer tie more than 10 vessels together. We see this as an attempt of controlling bodies of water of these lakes that overstep their bounds and protect private landowners more than the users of the recreational body. Being even more peculiar is that these regulations are only in effect from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Lake Grinnell, Cranberry Lake, Paul-and-Skill Lake, Lake Hopatcong, and Lake Mohawk should see water skiing laws that we think will increase safety. The regulations deal with the length of tow lines. Only between 35 and 85 feet will be permitted. But we do wonder if it's a waste of resources to have law enforcement measuring ski rope on a lake reservoir. The new law that makes the most sense deals with restricting skiing after dark and before sunrise. We'll be back after a short commercial break. Welcome back from that commercial break. Welcome to the Lake Fund News. This segment of Lake Fund News is brought to you by Lake Fund Lake Levelology, the world's only artificial intelligence lake level prediction model. Today, in lake levels, we would like to talk to you about lakes with the largest plus moves. The lakes that are moving the most today are Navarro Mills in Texas, Worth Lake in Texas, O.H. Lake in Texas, Applegate, Oregon in Texas, Mead Lake in Arizona, and Pentonville in Wisconsin. All these lakes are forecast to move upwards of about 2 feet for the day. The largest downward moves are Bundick Lake in Louisiana, Canton Lake in Oklahoma, Claytor Lake in Virginia, Brownwood Lake in Texas, Yucca Lake in Oklahoma, and Mark Twain Lake in Missouri. All these lakes are expected to move downwards of approximately 2 feet today. Next, we look at the top lakes above full pool. Pleasant Lake in Arizona is currently 20.77 feet above full pool. William Bill Danley Lake in Alabama is 12.81 feet above full pool. Wright Patman Lake in Texas is 4.49 feet above full pool. Lake Havasu in Arizona and California is 3.37 feet above full pool. Grand Lake in Oklahoma, 2.99 feet above full pool. The top lakes below full pool are Lake Mead in Arizona and Nevada at 147.61 feet below full pool. Cheatham Lake in Tennessee is 367.6 feet below full pool. Greenwood is in South Carolina is 435 feet below full pool. Mountain Island, North Carolina, 550 feet below full pool. That brings us to a close of our top lake movers for the day. This is brought to you by the Lake Levelology. If you go to lakefund.com, you can see the Lake Levelology Lake Fund ticker shows predictions. We're the only service in the world to actually predict what the lake levels will be. Join Lake Fund every day for a constantly updated Lake Levelology. And now we go to a short commercial break. Welcome to our specialty section of the Lake Fun News. This is You Deserve a Good Paddle by V. Binga and Tim Ganley. Special guest bloggers V. Binga and Tim Ganley join us to talk today about yin paddling. They are the authors of 3 of the best books of 2017, Learn to Paddleboard, Sup Yoga Sutras, and Progressive Relaxation. Join us today with some great material. Join 2 of the best paddleboarding instructors in the world as they provide their in-depth knowledge of yin paddling. You deserve a good paddle. Looking back through the different stages of your life, you will find your most favorite activities, whether physical or mental, have always had 2 common characteristics: economy of action and smart play. Economy of action is a term used to describe the ability to accomplish as much as possible with as little effort as possible. In other words, the ability to generate minimal waste. Your favorite activities would not be that if they were a waste of your time, money, or energy. Smart play is a term used to describe an activity, indoor or outdoor, that can be performed long-term without injury and with the maximum benefit, be it physical or mental. In other words, your favorite activity is what makes you wear out from playing, not rust out from injury or boredom. With the above 2 principles in mind, we developed the yin paddling technique. This technique brings smart play and economy of action to flat water, stand-up paddleboarding. Benefits of yin paddling include less wear and tear on your joints, hips, lower back, knees, etc. Less typical muscle activation, so longer lasting muscle use, hence longer paddling time. Increased joint mobility, leading to performance increase in other sports. It's cross-training. Deeper breathing due to thoracic diaphragm activation. More sustained power and purpose to your strokes. Below, we're giving you in great detail everything you need to implement the yin paddling technique and add great power and purpose to your stand-up paddleboarding time. Adjust the length of your paddle for yin paddling. It's always best to set up the paddle height on land. You can still fine-tune it later while on board and on the water. Stand barefoot on uneven ground so that your feet and bottom tip of the paddle blade are on the same level. Reach up with one arm and grab the handle of the paddle, not just the shaft. You want your arm extended with a very slight bend on your elbow. If in doubt, it's safer to go higher rather than lower. That is the ideal paddle length for your recreational and sup yoga paddling on flat water. Holding your paddle during yin paddling. One hand needs to be holding the handle of the paddle and the other hand needs to be as far down as possible while comfortable for leverage. You should be facing the face of the paddle so that the scoop of the paddle at the paddle throat is facing away from you. You don't want to be scooping the water, as counterintuitive as this might seem. Your goal is to propel your board through the water by pulling your body towards your paddle. Your grip should be soft. This applies to both hands. You should be barely using your fingers during all phases of your paddle stroke. The finger hold should be so gentle that if you were to stop paddling, your paddle would slide out of your hands. Your arms should be as straight as possible. In other words, your elbows should feel almost locked. This will assist you in using a lot more of your core strength as opposed to your extremities, arms, and legs. If you feel you look odd while paddling like a robot, you're probably doing it right. The yin paddling forward stroke. The yin forward stroke consists of 4 parts that seamlessly flow one another. Extend and reach without leaning forward. Extend your arms fully, reaching as far forward as comfortable. Push. With your top hand of the paddle, push so that the whole blade of the paddle goes vertical in the water. Pull. With your bottom hand, pull your body towards the paddle and keep your blade in the water, bringing it out to your heels and waist. Retrieve. Once. There, retrieve the blade by slicing it through the water away from the board. By keeping your arms as straight as possible and not bending the elbows, you end up using more of your fascia, yin type of tissue, and use less of your muscles, yang type of tissue. You want to be using your fascia. To find out more about the yin paddleboarding and sup yoga in our 2 books, Walk on Water, A Guide to Flat Water Stand-Up Paddling, and Sup and Yoga Sutras, Reinventing the Art of Yoga. Thank you for listening to Lake Fun News, and we would love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to visit Tim and V at asktimandv.com. Tim Ganley is a lifestyle entrepreneur, outdoor adventurer, and author. V. Binga is a lifestyle entrepreneur, outdoor adventurer, and author. Thank you very much for listening. This concludes the Lake Fun News.